tell you something, all that glitters ain't gold. Hey, hey, it's been a long old troublesome road, and I'm looking for somebody come and help me carry this load. I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey, well I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Well, I don't know if I'm walking on solid ground, 'cause everything around me is falling down. And all I want is for someone to help me. I had a job, but the boss man let me go. He said, I'm sorry, but I won't be needing your help no more. I said, please, Mr. Boss Man, I need this job more than you know. But he gave me my last paycheck and he sent me on out the door. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey, said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey, and I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Well, I don't know if I'm walking on solid ground, 'cause everything around me is crumbling down. And all I want is for someone to help me. What in the world am I gonna do tomorrow? Is there someone with a dollar I could borrow? Who can help me take away my sorrow? Maybe it's inside the bottle. Maybe it's inside the bottle. I had some good old buddies, names is whiskey and wine. Hey, hey, and for my good old buddies, I spend my last dime. Hey, hey, now wine is good to me. You help me pass the time. And my good old buddy whiskey keep me warm in the sunshine. Hey, hey, your mama may have blessed the child that's got his own. Hey, hey, if God has plans for me, I hope it ain't written in stone. Hey, hey, because I've been working myself down to the bone. And I swear on Grandpa's grave, I'll be paid when I come home. Hey, hey, well I need a dollar, I need. Hey, hey, well I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need.
Hello, Delaware. How are you? I am Rashmi Rangan. I'll spend the next half hour with you. For those of you who have not caught me before, this is not my regular schedule. But you know, during the campaign season, we hustle and we juggle. Usually, you're going to catch me on the first Sunday of every month from 3 to 4. So now that I have you, and some of you don't know me, let me take a few moments to really introduce myself. So, Rashmi Rangan. I started with the Delaware Community Reinvestment Action Council as a student intern when I was still a student at University of Delaware, and Jim Sills, our former mayor, was a professor at the university. I worked under his leadership for 2 years, and then he ran a campaign, a successful campaign, became the mayor of the city of Wilmington, and in transition took the entire executive team of DCRAC. So, for a year or two, DCRAC was practically on life support, and we tried many things. But one thing we knew, that the organization wouldn't be able to function just in a volunteer capacity. And the board put out a call for an executive director because we needed staff. I was not their first choice. I wasn't their second choice, but they settled for me ultimately. So I started as its executive director on December 14th, 1994. Over the years, I have had the pleasure of learning so much. Nothing prepared me to lead this organization other than my 2 years as the student intern and almost a year and a half as a housing counselor. So those two made me realize that we needed to have a client base and continue our advocacy. Client base for storytelling and understanding what is going on in our clients' day-to-day lives, so that would prepare me to tell stories to the media, to the regulators, to the banks. And of course, DCREC internship had prepared me for using Home Mortgage Disclosure Act data, analyzing it, and telling stories from data. So, when I started, the one thing that I had the greatest expertise in was in managing my money. Because when I came to the US on September 21st, 1989, I did not, actually it was 88, I did not know a whole lot about the American financial system. I had only dealt in cash. I had never even had a bank account, and certainly I had no credit at all. So everything was a learning experience. And for me, the marvels of marvel was this money spitting machine, the ATMs. I learned very quickly how the system works. Certainly, I made a few mistakes along the way, but I realized within a few weeks of landing in the United States that if I did not have credit, I had nothing. So I applied and I applied and I applied and I applied for credit. Lucky for me, my first credit card was an American Express card, which is a charge card. So it allowed me the luxury of charging for 30 days. Then I would get a bill, and my bill would say, this is how much you charged, this is how much you have to pay. There were no minimum payment, maximum payment, anything in between. So luckily with that start, I learned that my bills, when they come, they are paid in full. Of course, as things changed and as the credit environment changed, luckily because that was my profession to keep an eye on it, it helped me learn the nuances of credit usage. So my credit score is awesome, and yours can be too. It is easy, so easy that I keep telling you that you don't even have to meet with us. You don't even have to come into our class. If you are on Facebook, find me, friend me, and we have a page called 52-Week Savings Challenge, and this is week number 20, and a 723 credit score page. And on those two pages every week, I post an assignment. So for example, today's assignment in the 52-Week Savings Challenge says, week 20, save 20. And then the assignment there is, look at your financial documents and check for beneficiaries to make sure that you have the right beneficiaries. So upon your demise, the right person will get the asset that you have built for the right person. In the 723, it's week 20, And if you haven't yet found out how to get your free credit score, free credit report after 20 or after 19 weeks, high time you go and get your free credit report, free credit score, so that you know where you are, you know where you need to be, 723, and you can develop your action plan on how you will get there. So credit score will kind of tell you where you are and what your destination is. Credit report will give you the action plan on how to get to your destination. We would encourage you, though, to join us, give us a call, and start this journey together. On the first Monday of every month from 5:30 to 8:30, we teach a class called Borrow Smart, because money in America, the best money is other people's money. And how do you get other people's money? By borrowing. And if you're borrowing, you want to be the smartest borrower. Step one in smart borrowing, of course, is an awesome credit score, 723 and above. And step two is to understand the truth in lending disclosure. When you are borrowing money from anyone, it could be a credit union, a bank, credit card, mortgage, payday loan, title loan, refund anticipation loan, student loan, any loan. When you're borrowing money, the lender is telling you all the terms of that loan. And if you can translate that in plain English, then you will be the smartest borrower. So Borrow Smart is what our class is titled, and we spend time making sure you understand how to read that truth in lending disclosure. Very, very important. It's a free program available to anyone, whether you are in the state of Delaware or not. If you can come to our office, it is yours for free. So give it a try. If you don't like what we are saying, you don't have to follow through. But give us the opportunity to, in a one-on-one or rather classroom setting, share with you all the fundamentals of saving, building credit, and smart borrowing. Now, this Borrow Smart is a lengthy curriculum. It starts with that 3-hour class on day one. After that, you're given assignments, 3 assignments that are online. So you don't ever have to see anyone, do it at your pace online. If you don't use computers and are uncomfortable learning online, you can schedule with Joe Gross, who is the Credit Clinic Director, and he will walk you through, teach you how to navigate technology. And once you are done those courses, then you gather the relevant information for us to work with you, so you can get your budget together, you can get a credit repair action plan together, and start on this journey so you are financially independent. Your future, your children's future, your grandchildren's future is dependent on how smart and financially independent you can get yourself to, right? In our communities, we don't have very many options. There are financial planners, but those financial planners plan millions of dollars for very wealthy borrowers, very wealthy consumers. For you and I, we don't have the luxury of hiring a financial planner. We either learn on our own learn from other people what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, or utilize support systems that exist in our community. We are a support system that are available to you. Next year we will be 30 years young. We really want to make sure everyone we touch knows that they can build a plan for financial independence, and we are there to walk them through that process. It may for some be a short journey, for some it may be a long journey. We are not with you just for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. We are with you until you actually accomplish your financial goal, whatever that may be. If it is awesome credit score, we will be with you until it gets there. If it is savings, 52-week savings challenge, we will be with you until you get there. If it is home ownership, we will be with you until you get there. If it is buying a car, we are there for you. So I mentioned home ownership. So let me move from our credit clinic run by Joe Gross into home ownership. So what Joe does with you is prepare you for home ownership with explaining the entire home ownership process, helping you build your savings plan and begin working on the savings plan, help you with your credit plan and begin working on your credit plan. And as you are closer to home ownership, then your turn to the housing clinic. Housing clinic is run by Lillian Harrison. Lillian lives in Georgetown, Delaware, comes up to New Castle County to meet clients upon appointments. But in this technology age, you can do FaceTime, Skype, emails, scanning, sending, telephone. There are many, many ways to stay connected. So, home ownership. When I started in February 1999, right here on this channel, then too, first Sunday 3 to 4, when I started in 99, I used to say there are just a few rules of thumbs to home ownership. Over the years, even though the environment changed, the market changed, we had some lousy, toxic products that were sold in our communities. They were all horrendous products. In fact, they are the reason for our housing crisis and our financial crisis. Even in the midst of that, I used to say this, all right, you are thinking about home ownership, look at your gross annual income. Multiply that by 2.5 or at most 3. That is the maximum borrowing capacity you have. So, if your annual income is $10,000, the maximum you can borrow is $30,000, right? Are there homes for $30,000? If there are, then you can begin your home ownership journey. If there aren't, then you have to work to build your gross annual income so that home ownership is affordable to you. But look at your gross annual income and multiply that by 3. That's the maximum you can borrow, period. How much should you be saving? Well, 5% of what you can borrow is what you should work towards saving. Doesn't mean that you must necessarily get to that 5%, but the closer to 5% you are, the stronger a borrower you will be. I've always said you should have an awesome credit score. I've always said you should have a 723 credit score. However, You can indeed become a homeowner with a credit score of 660. So, towards becoming homeowner, you can meet the lowered credit score threshold. But for your own growth, you may still want to work toward a 723 credit score period. So that's one thing that I have been talking consistently about in home ownership. Borrowing capacity 3 times your gross annual income. Saving goal 5% of the sale price or your borrowing capacity, 5% of the money you can borrow. Credit score as high as you can get it. The market rate right now is under 4% fixed rate 30-year mortgage, which is awesome. If you're thinking about home ownership, don't just start anywhere. Start with a housing counselor. Housing counseling industry in the state of Delaware was pioneered really by DCREC when DCREC was founded in 1987. Jim Sills negotiated 5-year CRA commitments with 3 Delaware banks saying focus on home ownership. And one way to make sure that home ownership in our communities is successful is to support housing counseling, because a counseled client who knew what the traps and tricks were there every step of the way to avoid would be your strongest homeowner. And Jim Sills was right. Next year will be our 30th anniversary. So folk that did become homeowners in the first couple of years of our founding are strong, solid homeowners. I should do a little review and research to see how they have fared over the years, because they should be ready to have a mortgage burning ceremony. All right. Since 2007, unfunded, we started doing foreclosure prevention. Now, if we went back to our tapes, I used to be talking since I think 2006, maybe 2005. I was talking about the need to do something because the foreclosure tsunami will be on our shores. When they did hit, I could have just said, I told you so, and done nothing. But our housing counselors were overwhelmed, and the more that could provide support, the better. So we began doing foreclosure prevention. Our deputy director and I were providing counseling, and we had a caseload of about 80 to 100 that we were working every year to try and save their homes from going under. We also in our housing clinic do something that is unique, and that is title issues. So if you are a homeowner who wants to modify your mortgage, or you are a homeowner wants to take advantage of grant opportunities to fix your home, you cannot take advantage of these 2 options unless the title is in your name. So if the title is not in your name, you would want to contact us, and Jacqueline Quinn will be able to assist you in that process. Jacqueline Quinn is our deputy director. She is a Delaware attorney. She will be able to walk you through the title project. And the last DCREC program that we offer is our tax clinic. Our low-income tax clinic is the only such program in the state of Delaware. And how we function: if you are a taxpayer and are in trouble with the IRS, then we represent you before the IRS and all the way to tax court should we need to get there. So our tax clinic, housing clinic, credit clinic, they all work together, because you have one problem, quite possibly you have other problems, and we all sit down and make sure that when you come into us, your financial pocketbook issues are addressed to the best of our capacity, and we are pretty darned good. So DCRAC over the years, having worked with thousands of Delawareans, realized that a huge problem for our communities was access to credit or banking services. If you had a lousy credit score, credit report, bounced checks, you couldn't open bank accounts. Of course, with a lousy credit score, you could not get but very high cost loans. So we wanted to come up with an alternative. And the alternative that we came up with, and after a long 10, 15-year long journey, we did charter in 2011 Stepping Stones Community Federal Credit Union. So this is a member-owned mainstream financial institution. To become a member, you can come to our office at 603 North Church Street during our office hours, the credit union hours. They are Monday evening 3 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 11:30 to 2:30, and Friday 3 to 6. Come in with a photo ID, $5 at the least, and your social security card, and you can become a member. You can open an account. You can 15 days later apply for a loan. The loan, though, goes through a very rigorous screening process to make sure you have the ability to repay and you have the willingness to repay. And voila, sometimes we say yes, sometimes we have to say no. But even when we say no, we work with you to make sure that next time you come to us, we won't say no. So what kind of loan products? Come in and check us out. We are at 603 North Church Street. I already told you our regular business hours. If not, give me a holler. Talk to you soon. I'll see you next month.